the Pearl of the Orient, Hong Kong's strategic importance. Hong Kong, a name synonymous with bustling trade and vibrant culture, was once a sparsely populated collection of islands off the coast of China. Its deep sheltered harbor, however, held immense strategic value, attracting the attention of global powers seeking to establish a foothold in the East. Britain, at the height of its imperial power, was one such empire. For centuries, China had operated a tightly controlled trade system, limiting foreign access to its vast markets. European nations eager to tap into the lucrative tea and silk trade chafed under these restrictions. The demand for Chinese goods in Europe was insatiable, but China had little need for European products. This imbalance led to a significant trade deficit, with Britain increasingly reliant on silver to finance its purchases from China. Desperate to redress this imbalance, Britain sought a commodity that China would crave. That commodity, unfortunately, turned out to be opium. Tea, trade and tributaries, the road to the Opium Wars. The East India Company, a powerful trading corporation with its own army, had a monopoly on opium production in India. Recognizing the potential for profit, the company began smuggling vast quantities of opium into China, where it was sold illegally. The social consequences were devastating, with widespread addiction and social unrest plaguing China. The Qing dynasty, alarmed by the growing opium crisis and the drain on its silver reserves, moved to curb the trade. They confiscated and destroyed large quantities of opium, much to the ire of the British. Diplomatic efforts to resolve the situation failed, paving the way for the First Opium War, from 1839 to 1842. The conflict exposed the technological disparity between Britain and China. British warships, equipped with superior firepower, easily outmatched the Chinese navy. Coastal cities were bombarded and the Qing dynasty was forced to sue for peace. The Treaty of Nanking, Hong Kong becomes a British colony. The Treaty of Nanking, signed in 1842, marked a humiliating defeat for China. It was forced to cede the island of Hong Kong to Britain in perpetuity, opening up several ports to foreign trade and paying a large indemnity for the war. Hong Kong became a crown colony, strategically positioned as a gateway to China and Southeast Asia. Under British rule, Hong Kong underwent a dramatic transformation. Its deep harbor soon became a hub for international trade, attracting merchants, entrepreneurs, and workers from China and across the globe. The city's infrastructure developed rapidly, with the construction of roads, buildings, and public services. However, the cession of Hong Kong was only the beginning. The Second Opium War, from 1856 to 1860, sparked by ongoing tensions and Chinese resistance to the treaty terms, resulted in further concessions from the Qing dynasty. Kowloon, a peninsula opposite Hong Kong Island, was also ceded to Britain. One country, two systems, Hong Kong's return to China. By the late 20th century, the political landscape had shifted dramatically. The British lease on the new territories, which comprised the vast majority of Hong Kong's landmass, was set to expire in 1997. After years of negotiations, Britain and China signed the Sino-British Joint Declaration in 1984. This agreement paved the way for Hong Kong's return to China under the principle of one country, two systems. This framework ensured that Hong Kong would retain its capitalist system, way of life, and freedoms for 50 years after the handover.